On today's episode of the Alabama Sportsman Podcast, we have in studio Anthony Kelly that has killed a Choccolocco management buck. It'll go Pope and Young this year. And he comes in, tells a story, and we get a lot of good laughs out of it. And we really enjoy Anthony. And we hope he gets to come back with another deer. But I think you'll enjoy this story. It's a really good story, and it's another public land story that I think everybody enjoy. Thanks for listening to the Alabama Sportsman Podcast. We're just going to kind of go right into what we're doing. So do you get a lot of off time in your job to go hunting?
It varies. Not really. I stay pretty busy. My phone is constantly ringing all the time.
Yeah. Yeah. So do you mostly just weekends?
Mostly, yeah.
Yeah. Well, that sucks.
Yeah. Why can't we hunt 7 days a week?
Yeah. Work life is set up backwards, you know.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, you're supposed to be retired when you're 20.
yeah.
I
and
tell you,
work when you're older.
I miss them days when I was living with Mom and Daddy.
Oh yeah. When it didn't matter, you just go hunting anytime you want to.
Yep.
So that buck you killed, did you kill it local or? I mean, tell us a little bit about him. Was it public land, private land?
Now, everybody's told me to say, all my family's raised me up to say in the woods.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I killed that close to here. It's a Choccolocco management area.
Okay. Well, we got a map right here, so we want you to show us exactly where it was at.
I can give you.
I got
tell
a
you
pin.
what
Hang on. Well, you can pin your tree.
We'll split it in half. I give you 50-50 chance. Side A.
All right.
Okay. That's close enough.
Yeah, that's right. But pull that picture right there up. Let everybody see. Man, that's a great buck. That is a great buck.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I'm proud of him.
That's a
Oh,
good
yeah.
one.
So what did he green score?
Hey, Green scored with deductions or without deductions? Without
yeah.
deductions, 140 and 5/8.
Wow, man, that's a great buck. With your bow.
What's that all over the base of his antlers? What is that?
I tell you, the rubs I was hunting,
Yeah.
I don't know what kind of tree they are, but the bark, right on the inside of the bark, is just this dark red color. And
Yeah.
I knew that was him. Whenever I seen that stuff on his horns, I said, yep, that's the one that's been rubbing them trees about that big around in there.
Golly.
He had them tore up too, but you know what set me up on them was I found one good rub that was head high,
Right.
and that's when I find one that high, I know there's a buck in there that's got a tall rack.
Yeah.
You know, he's reaching
Oh,
on
yeah.
up there.
Oh,
Plus,
yeah.
there was a bush out to the bottom, and he was hitting that bush also. So
Dang, yeah, that's a great buck. So what made you go to this area right here that you're in?
I had a friend that he told me about the spot. He don't get to hunt much, and he said he used to hunt this holler, and he told me just go around in there and check it out. He said he promised there's a big buck in there somewhere,
Right.
and so I checked it out, and he was right on. They were sign in there everywhere.
So how far did you have to walk back in there to get him? Because Choccolocco, like I was telling y'all earlier, that guy got a friend that calls it the Choccolocco Cliff Climber. So you know, some of that place is getting there gets pretty rough. So how far did you have to walk to find him?
I didn't have to walk too far for him. It was about 150 yard walk, and I could have actually cut the distance a little shorter if I'd went in from the top of the ridge instead of the bottom,
Yeah.
the way the road curved around in there. But it was about a 150 yard walk.
Right. How did you set up on him? What made you set up in your set like you did?
Well, I found the rubs, and I followed the rubs, you know, so I kind of knew his trail and the path he was taking. Bucks are well, all deer, they're just like humans. They're going to be lazy.
Yeah.
You know, the easiest route. So I tried to pick out the easiest route he was taking and followed the rubs and just kind of got an image of how he was traveling in that area. Check the wind. I always play the wind when I'm bow hunting, always. And I set up downwind from the trail, and the buck come in downwind from me. But you know, I take bow hunting real serious, and I go the whole 9 yards. I mean, I do the whole, scent, washing with scent stuff,
Yeah.
and spraying with dead downwinds.
Yeah.
I got scent lock clothes. Put my clothes, store them in a plastic container to where they're scent free.
Right.
But this stuff, I don't know if y'all use it or not, but you've got to get you a stick of it. The Evercalm,
Yeah.
it works.
Right.
I've been using that stuff for the last 2 years, and since I've been using it, I've had more deer come in downwind on me than I've ever had. So that stuff, it works. Get you a stick of it if you ain't got it.
Right.
Yeah, I had never used it. I've seen it, but I've never used it. Have you?
No, I've never used it. They say that, don't they say it's like they're mimicking like their bedding areas or something like that?
Yeah, they take the scent from a deer's bedding area, and they combine all the scent and put it in like a deodorant stick. So, anytime a deer is familiar with the bedding area smells, they're going to be
It just kind of gives them a
relaxed,
calm smell.
Right.
Yeah.
This buck, I know he smelled something out of place because he was kind of skittish. He throwed his head up in a few. I remember twice he throwed his head up, smelling around the air. So I know he smelled something different. But I think it's Evercalm. He smelled it also, and it made him come on down in to me.
Yeah.
Did the taxidermist or anybody? Well, you was in the management. Did they estimate his age?
Well, the game wardens wasn't there at the check-in station because it wasn't a hunt day.
Right.
But no, nobody estimated his age.
What would you think he'd be? 4 or 5?
I'd say 4 or 5.
Yeah.
His back was definitely, getting a slump to it. So he was a little older.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a great buck. Did you get a weight on him?
No, I didn't even get the weight on him.
Well, you had to drag him, so what'd you think?
500 pounds.
3 or 400.
Yeah.
I imagine he'd have went. I know he'd have went over 200.
Yeah.
He was a good solid deer. He had a lot of fat on him too.
Yeah. Now, up in Choccolocco, we was talking about this earlier also. We was talking about that Choccolocco is unique because some parts has a November rut and some part has a December rut. Was he giving you any sign of a November rut?
No, I think he was just starting. I think he'd be rutting by the end of November.
Okay.
I really do. He was just starting.
So
his glands was not black yet,
Mhm.
but he was starting. He was starting to smell. His neck was swelled up a little bit. He was just starting. But they've been some out there that have been rutting. I've had a few people. I've talked to a few people hunting out there, and they've actually killed some chasing does out there already.
Yeah. What kind of bow you shooting?
That's a Hoyt Spider.
Oh yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, I got the carbon element.
Carbon element. I love it, man. That thing's light, and I just love the back wall on it. For real.
I do too.
It's solid,
I do too. Man, I tell you that to me, there's no other bow than a Hoyt.
Yeah.
I mean, I've had Matthews and everything else. That dang Hoyt.
It's bad.
It's something
Screaming,
else.
too.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, out here, that target right there, I set it up. Landon see it. I mean, shoot. Well, my bow, I got it set up at 100 yards because we go out to Kansas and stuff, and I practice. At long distances, because man, that short distance, man, because when you have one, it's nothing at short distance.
Yeah.
So I got mine set up. It will shoot 100 yards. I wouldn't take that shot, but it just makes you a better shot. When you get
Short distance. Oh,
yeah. Now 65 yards, well, boy, I sling it at him every day, all day long.
What's the questionable yards you would shoot? Like, say if you're going to shoot one, you go, hey man, this is it. This is the only chance I'm gonna get.
That son of a gun would have to be a monster, and it'd be my last day, and I'd probably take a 75-yard shot.
Yeah.
But because I'm comfortable with it, and the penetration that bow gives in them targets, man, it.
Yeah.
And with those broadheads, it'd blow right through him.
What kind of broadhead you shoot?
I use them Swackers.
Swackers.
Mm-hmm.
Golly, man, Have you ever shot one?
I haven't shot one.
Oh my gosh! Well, we went to Kansas last year, and I shot a big 8-pointer up there, and he was probably on the hoof. He was probably about 230 pounds, and he was at 55 yards. And man, that Swacker, when it hit, it swacked. I mean, it really sounds like that.
Dang.
It sounds like he's shooting it into a tree.
Yeah.
And it went through him, man. It blew all the way through him, and he didn't even make it 50 yards, and he was dead. He didn't even make it out of the field.
Dang. I shot a 8-pointer 3 weekends ago.
2 weekends ago. Down
2
at the club.
weekends ago. Yeah, down at the club. When I shot him with that Schwacker, I could have swore I hit a tree. I mean, I thought I missed him. And I heard him crash, and I said, man, I didn't miss that deer. He must have failed. Well, but when I hit him, No joke. It's like he said. It sounds like you're hitting a tree. Pow.
Good blood trail.
Oh, man. Like, when it come out the other side, it's a 2-inch cutting diameter, but by the time I found him, it was a good 3 inches because he ripped it when he was running. He was gushing blood out of both sides. I mean, it's like you walk down through the bottom with a paint can just pouring blood
I
out.
have to give him a try. I hunt with 2-blade rage.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I have some friends that don't like them, so they don't get no blood. Now, I've never had that problem.
Mm.
But, you know, I always try to hit the vitals and
Yeah.
make a good shot.
Oh, yeah.
That's the main key, for real.
Oh, yeah. Well, those real wide cut, like a expandable gives you, you know, if you if something happens and you do pull, because anything can happen, you know, bow hunting, man.
That's
Anything
true.
can happen. And you barely move or jerk or just make a bad shot and you get him a little bit far back, you know, if you're lucky, you might get a liver or, you know, cut something and, you know, recover your animal.
The one thing I have heard bad about the expandables, though, which I haven't seen it, is like you'll hit like a tree limb and they'll expand before you hit the deer, you know?
Yeah.
I can see that happen.
I could see it happening, but I've never had it happen. But then again, I've never shot through a tree either, try to hit one.
Well, I've shot at a buck before in Ohio, but I didn't see this little bitty twig sticking out. And I seen my arrow go, and it just jumped right over the deer's back. And, I mean, that's all it took was just a little bitty old twig, and I couldn't even see it. I didn't see it there until after it done happened and I started looking, you know.
Yeah, it happens. A guy in our hunt club, this past weekend I was down there, he, you know, we got to take so many does out of our club because we only have 8 members in our club. So, well, anyway, this doe comes out and he said, that's the one I'm going to take. So he pulls back and shoots over her back. He said, that comes. So she runs and stops. And so he puts another arrow in, pulls back and shoots at her again, and he didn't see it. It hits a stick and goes straight down on the ground. Saved her life. Saved her life.
A saving stick.
Yeah, it'll happen, man.
Yeah.
Anything can happen bow hunting. Anything can happen.
That is true.
So, but yeah, it's
I love
it's
it,
a lot of fun. You don't rifle hunt much?
I don't rifle hunt much. Growing up, that's how we grew up, you know, living off the land, and it got to where, you know, being young, killing a big buck with my rifle, I got the shakes, you know. But as over the years went by, the more bucks I killed with my rifle, you know, it just kind of faded away. So I picked up a bow when I was probably, I got a late start on the bow, really. I was probably 22, 23 when I picked up a bow. And I fell in love with it right away, just shooting.
Yeah.
You know, not even killing anything, just shooting a bow, just the whole how you got to set it up, and everything's got to be perfect. You know what I mean? So I even got into fletching my own arrows and all that. And
that's cool.
But to take an animal's life, especially a smart buck, you know, I mean, it's a challenge, and to me, it's very rewarding. Even if it's a doe, I think any whitetail taken with a bow is a trophy.
Oh yeah, it is, man. It's a lot of fun. I just hate taking a deer in the evening. I mean, I don't mind killing a buck in the evening. I can't stand killing a doe in the evening.
I'll shoot one. I'll shoot her.
Yeah, I know Landon will. I just hate fooling with her at dark. Because if I'm, at dark, I'm like, dang, man, I've been up since 4 o'clock. I'm ready to
relax,
get back to camp or home, and kick back and relax. Yeah. Now I got to cut this stupid thing up. But I mean, you got to do what you got to do because, like down at the club, we got to take a certain amount of does out down there. But something like that, I'd shoot him all day long, and I'd drag him up mountain. Did you have to drag him up or down the mountain?
He run downhill, so I had to drag him up.
They all run downhill.
Man, it took me about an hour and 40 minutes to drag him to the truck.
Man, let me tell you this. Up there on the Longleaf, I don't think you can hunt that anymore this year, can you?
I heard it was closed. I'm not really sure.
I wonder why they closed that.
Somebody said they found an ordinance or something up there. So they got from Choccolocco Road all the way to the top of the mountain is closed right now for hunting. But I know a guy that was up there hunting with his bow. He shoots a deer and spine shoots it, and the deer's broke down. I mean, people are probably not going to like this story, but I mean, it's hunting and it happens, and I'm not going to tell his name. But he shoots and the deer's broke down. Well, he gets down. The deer's just sitting there just flopping. He's trying to get up and walk. Well, he gets down and walks up behind the deer and gets behind him, and the deer's trying to get away from the guy, and he walks behind the deer, and the deer drags himself all the way to the top up there to that road. Then he shoots him again, kills him right there.
Right by the truck.
So he didn't have to.
The
so he didn't
deer
have to
pulled
drag
himself.
him.
Yeah, the deer pulled himself to his death. You know. But you know, it is what it is. You know, it's life and death. You know what outlaw Joseph Wells say? He said, "Dying's part of living."
Yeah. It's coming.
It's coming. So
It took me a while to figure out how I was gonna get that sucker in the back of the truck.
I bet.
I finally found a hill on the side of the road, or where the ridge went up the side of the road, and drug them uphill some more, and then backed the truck up to the ridge and just flopped them over on the tailgate.
Yep. Did you have a lot of people honking at you? It looked like you had him on your tailgate when you drove out.
Oh, you know I had them on the tailgate.
Oh, yeah.
Oh yeah, I had to. Yeah, the only reason you didn't have him on the hood is because you couldn't get him up there.
Did you have a lot of people honking and pointing at you?
I had passed a few people. I passed a guy that was squirrel hunting. He had his dogs running down the road. They were in a truck actually riding with the dogs. And I slowed down, you know, I didn't want to run over his dogs.
Yeah.
And I passed by him, and I looked in the rear view mirror, or looked in the side mirror over there, and he was like kissing his mirror.
Yeah.
And then I passed this other truck on up the road. There was a young boy sitting in it, and he was watching me, you know, when he went by, but
Yeah.
I didn't see his father around. Well, it wasn't too far from the game warden station. Well, you know, you got to record all your deer you kill,
Oh, yeah.
even if they're not having a hunt or no game wardens
Right.
there. So I swung in there to, record it and put it in the box and everything, and here come that truck flying up in there. I
He wanted
guess
to
his
see it.
son told him, you know, Daddy, somebody rode by with a big old buck.
He come in and talk to you?
Yeah, he come up there and talked to me.
Yeah. How old was that little boy?
He was probably 9, maybe.
Did he get out and look at it?
Oh, yeah.
Was he excited?
Yeah.
He liked that.
Man, that's good
Yeah.
stuff right there.
Yeah, it is. I can't wait. I got
Yeah.
a 2-year-old and 3-year-old.
Both boys?
You know, yeah, both boys.
All right.
So they was excited when I got home with them.
No, I bet.
They call them reindeer.
Right. Well, that right there's big enough to be, you know. He's a good one.
His nose is a little red in that picture, ain't it?
Yeah, he got a red nose. Yep.
That's funny.
Did you do that rifle hunt they had, that early rifle hunt this past weekend?
Yeah, I had that. I went up there and I don't know if I messed up. I posted that buck on Facebook. I
Oh,
shouldn't
yeah.
have done that. But we're hunting. I got permission to hunt my wife's cousin's land, which is close to Choccolocco.
Mm-hmm.
And I guess she thought we killed it on her property, you know, and she asked, where'd he get that at? And my wife right away, Choccolocco Management Area. And I didn't read it till later on, and I was like, my goodness. So on the gun hunt, going in there, I could have swore somebody was pulled over and followed me to where I was going.
Dang.
I'm not for sure, but
They'll do that.
they was truck after truck parked on the side of the road, and I kept praying, please don't let nobody be in my spot.
Yeah.
Well, after the hunt that evening, I went to the game warden station, you know, to put my time out in, and the game warden was there, and there was a few bucks there. They was, you know, weighing and stuff, and a few people standing around. Well, everybody was talking about how I ain't never seen so many people on Choccolocco hunt like this, and I guess that's part of my fault.
Got him excited.
Social
Yeah.
media.
Yeah. And you know, for the past few years now, of course, I rarely get to hunt Choccolocco anymore, but somebody's always killing a real quality buck up there.
I
You know,
agree.
and this year it was you.
Thank you.
Far.
So far, yeah.
Yeah. I mean it.
Last year, I'll tell you, the gun, I hunted a little bit last year. I ain't hunted it long. In fact, this is my second year hunting it.
Right.
But last year, I hunted side B a little bit, and but I kept watching on Facebook, you know, on the gun hunts.
Mhm.
They posted pictures of the deer killed, and there was some good ones killed last year, too.
Yeah. Yeah. They killing some good bucks up there now.
Yep.
And is both sides of that management area, you talking about A side and B side, are both sides 4 on one side now? Got
Yes.
to at least have 4 on one
Yes,
side?
yes,
Yeah.
buck restriction, yep.
I think.
That's
I mean,
good.
I know
I-
it helps them somewhat. You know what I mean? It's got to. I mean, you sit there and kill bucks like this off the place, or like used to. Correct me if I'm wrong, but used to it was just one buck and a doe on a gun hunt, right? I mean, you could kill a buck and a doe in
Well,
the same day as long as it had horns of whatever caliber.
Well, it depended on the hunt too. You
Yeah.
know, Choccolocco, they've always been
Had like a bucks only hunt, or
and they were real restrictive on their does.
yeah.
Because it's such a big place. It was, I don't remember when it was, but they had a big EHD breakout up there, and it wiped a lot of their deer out. I can't remember if it was the 80s, 70s, or 80s.
I didn't know that. I have to
Yeah.
read up on that.
Yeah. So, so the population is just now getting, well, I say just now, probably it started coming back in early 2000s. So.
As bow hunting though, you can take a doe every day, right? Every time you bow hunt, or is it?
Yeah.
Yeah. I wonder if that's even during the gun hunts. If you're
I'm
still
not
bow
sure.
hunting.
I think they changed the rule. I'll have to look. I think they changed the rules. I know I know I did read that on bow hunting, the antler restriction does apply.
Okay.
So you can't just kill any buck.
Right. You can't shoot a spike.
It's
or
got to
anything
be
like
4
that.
points on one side.
And
And I like that rule.
Oh, it
Yeah.
does, man. I mean, if you want to shoot quality deer, that's what you have to do.
It's management.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
It's part of it.
I don't know, but I know used to you couldn't bow hunt with a gun hunt going on, could you?
Yeah, I heard that. See, and I've started to carry my bow on this past gun hunt, and that's what people were telling me. You need to read the rules that you can't hunt with a bow on a gun hunt. So I read it, reread it, and I read it like 4 or 5 times because I had 3 people tell me that.
Right.
But the way it's written now, you can bow hunt on a gun hunt on the same side, but you got to abide by the gun hunt rules.
Orange, stuff like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So if it
Well,
says,
it only makes sense.
That's
Yeah.
safe.
Yeah.
Yeah, you being safe. But
So like you got to wear your orange,
Right.
and if it's
Well, I mean, that's kind of
buck
common
only,
sense, yeah.
you know.
Oh, you talking about like a buck only hunt too? You have to
Yeah.
abide by
Yeah,
that.
you
okay.
got to abide by that also.
the
kill a
orange thing. Look, this is I don't know, man. Maybe I'm thinking too much into this, but the thing with orange, let's just say I'm going to take you to Choccolocco Imaginary, and you're going to be the hunter. And I'm not. I don't have to wear orange. If I'm not carrying a rifle, I don't have to wear orange. You do.
Yeah.
It don't matter if I'm taking you.
That's the rule. I mean, you saying you can do that?
Yeah. If only reason.
yeah.
Only reason a
Like if
person.
you want to ride a bicycle
Yeah,
through
only-
the management area, oh yeah, you don't have to have orange on.
They
Only-
should change that.
Yeah.
I feel like they
Well,
should
it doesn't
change
matter
that.
where it's at.
Yeah.
If you're right here behind my house, the state rule says if you're hunting and you got a firearm or whatever, or if you got a firearm, you have to wear hunter's orange. So, or down at the hunt club. So if I'm down there, let's just say I'm going to video you hunt. Me being a video cameraman, I don't have to have an orange hat.
Ooh, I don't agree with that.
I don't
dangerous.
either. It is.
Yeah.
But the guy carrying the gun has to have orange. Game wardens don't have to have orange.
Mm.
Bicyclers don't have to have orange.
Yeah.
I mean, that's dangerous.
Those are the
Yes,
people
it
that
is. I
those are
think
the
any
people that
public
need to wear orange.
Yeah, I think any public land that's open to the public for during hunt season, if you're on there, it don't matter what kind of activity, you need to have blaze orange on.
Especially Choccolocco, because
Yeah.
man, they got bicycle trails through there,
Oh yeah, they're everywhere.
and
Hiking
people,
trails.
hiking trails, and people walking through there,
And people love to do that, hike and walk.
and they can go through on the hunt. If you're up there hunting, if they have a scheduled hunt or whatever, there's people still can use those trails.
Hey, I've been hunting up there before, off a bicycle trail, and they'll come riding by you. You just hear them scooting right on by.
Yeah, that's like Bankhead. Up there at Bankhead, they got a lot of trails and stuff up there, and people don't have to wear orange.
I wonder if you can. I know it's like a walk-in only at Bankhead. I wonder if you could ride a bicycle in. I guess you
Yeah,
could.
no motorized vehicle.
Just
Well,
no
that's on the
motorized vehicles.
Sipsey Wilderness area.
Okay.
Yeah, but
Y'all
all
go up there a lot.
No. I tell you, if you listen to one of our episodes, we got Blake. Who was it?
Was it Brandon?
No. Man, I just called him the other day. His last name's Landers. Nicholas Landers.
Nick. Yeah.
Oh my gosh, man! Last year he killed a 183 inch
Yeah, it was huge.
buck up there.
Huge.
They kill some monsters up there. I
Man,
watch
some
them come
big
on
ones.
there.
Yeah.
They say it's
Huge.
ravines and cliffs too up
Yeah,
that
that's
way.
what I heard. It was most of the area, a lot of the area up there is so inaccessible that people. That's where the deer are at,
Yeah.
So they get to grow up like that.
Yeah.
And then when they come out,
He walked. He said he walked. I can't remember how far he walked, and he had his wife with him.
I bet you
Yeah.
like that. So, I've done that.
talked to him about it on his episode. You go back and listen to it. It's pretty good.
That's a
Hey,
good
and
place.
also he won the biggest buck killed brought into the deer show at the World Deer Expo in Birmingham.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, he had the biggest buck brought in. So.
He killed it with his bow or?
No, rifle.
Rifle.
Yeah.
Man, that's a beast.
Man.
180 for Alabama.
Monster.
Free range.
Yeah.
Man.
Public land.
Public land, free range. I mean,
There's been a lot of big deer come off public land and all. It's getting better.
Yeah.
A lot better.
I think it's because of the regulations where you got rack
Yeah.
restrictions.
Well, it just makes honest hunters. They'll take their 3 if
Right.
they take 3. I can't remember the last time I killed 3 bucks. I really can't.
I mean, dang.
can't either.
Eventually, you got to start buying more freezers.
Yeah.
Power bill goes up.
And of course, I got my kids are teenagers, so I kind of focus on them. When I go, like, was it weekend before last? I didn't even pick up my bow. I went with my son trying to video him.
Yeah.
So that's kind of what I focus on when they're around. When they
You
wanna
want
go.
them. You want them to kill it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Get the experience.
And I put a lot of time in on them, so I'll find a buck and just try to focus on them getting it. So
That's cool.
yeah, I love it. You'll
I'll
get
be
there.
He's
I'll
coming.
be there one day.
Oh,
yeah.
yeah.
You said 2 and 3, right? Is
Yeah.
that your boys?
Yep.
Yeah.
My son, we've been in that hunt club. We got down there in Bibb County. We've had it since 95, I believe we've been in it. So my son, my nephews, they all killed their first deer there. My son killed his first deer there. He was 8 when he killed his. I'll tell you this story, man. It's pretty cool. There's a road over there that, we was all hunting on, and we had a shooting house on a green field, and they just came through and done a clear cut. The timber company clear cut it. And we'd been seeing, some bucks over there. So I go, and my dad says, go over there and put him up in it. There's a few bucks coming out. So we're sitting up there in the shooting house, and man, he was right. About 3:30, out pops a buck. I said, son, there he is. And we had a 243 with the red dot scope. It wasn't even a magnified scope, So the old buck, he's sitting there, he feeds through that cutover, and he finally comes down into the food plot. And my son, I'm sitting there videoing him. And he's standing up, I'm sitting there, trying to help him too. And so he shoots the deer. The buck runs out in the cutover and dies. I'm hugging him, just congratulating him. And so I'm sitting there hugging him, congratulating. We're looking at the video camera, playing it back. And I look up, and there's another buck standing out there. I said, give me your rifle. I grabbed his rifle, broke it. It's just a single shot. I broke it open, put a bullet in there, and I shot. And, the old buck runs over there, and he dies. So we get down. He gets a 7-pointer. I killed an 8-pointer.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
What
Man,
a
I tell
day.
you,
That's a
yeah, when you get to
memory,
do that, when you
yeah.
get to do that. And the crazy thing is, I was telling you earlier, when I killed my first deer, I don't think it was you or someone else I was talking to earlier. But anyway, when I killed my first deer, it was a 7-pointer. And that weekend, my dad had killed a 7-pointer too. So
That's cool.
Yeah, me and him got a picture. Us both holding our deer up. When I killed my first one. So me and my son got our first. His picture taken with him when he killed his first buck. So
I tell you, my dad was an avid hunter. He loved to hunt. Not bow hunt. He never did bow hunt. But as I grew up and got older, and when I started getting interested in it, he kind of, I guess, tried to discourage me because he was, worried that, I'd get shot or something like that. All the stuff you hear and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And so what he done is he carried me one morning to the hunting club. It was cold that morning. I remember it was freezing cold. And he told me what he done later on. He tried to deter me from hunting.
Mm-hmm.
But he carried me to a cutover down there on the hunting club. We run dogs down on this hunting club down in Coosa County, Alabama. And he set me out on the edge of this cutover. And he said, you sit right here now. And, we're a long ways away from them dogs. I could hear dogs way off.
Mm-hmm.
He said, now, if them deer, if they come this way, they're going to come through this bottom, so you shoot one. So I sat up there, and what his mind was, I was going to freeze to death, not see anything, because I think we were so far away from the dogs, I wasn't going to see anything.
Mm-hmm.
And he right then, I would not want to hunt anymore.
Right.
But hey, I remember I had an old 35 lever action,
Mm-hmm.
and I was sitting there on the side of that hill, and I looked down through there, and I seen what looked like a doe standing down there looking at me. And I watched it, and I looked at it, and I said, yeah, that's a doe. That's it looked just like a doe standing down there with his ears up and everything. So I opened fire on him.
Yeah.
Pow, pow, pow. Well, he come flying back down the road, and come down there. And he's like, "What'd you shoot at? What'd you get? What'd you get?" I said, "I don't know, dude. I think it was a doe." Well, I got to looking at it, and I realized it was a stump. But it set me on fire.
Yeah.
It did. It set me on fire, and that made me want to kill a deer even more.
Yeah.
But that,
Did he laugh at you?
Yeah, he laughed at me. But his plan backfired on him bad. You know, from that point on, it was on. I saved up every penny I could to buy hunting stuff and calls and everything. That's how I started out.
Yeah, heck yeah. Speaking of being that far away, how far away was that buck right there when you shot him?
That buck was 40 yards when he stopped. I ranged where about the area he stopped in, and it was about a 40-yard shot. I even adjusted for him to drop because he was, kind of acting scared-ish and stuff.
Yeah.
Throwing his head up. And I'll tell you how the hunt went. I looked back on my right shoulder, and I seen him coming down the hill behind me. And he was standing there looking at me, and I said, I counted 4 points on one side, and I said, okay, he's a shooter.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not going to look at the horns again. I'm going to focus on making a kill shot. And but he was looking straight at me. We had to, just come to a pause, and it seemed like forever. But I didn't look at the horns anymore. And when he finally got comfortable and started smelling around, I tried to ease up on him, stand up on him.
Mm-hmm.
Well, he threw that head right back up, looking straight at me, and I was in a half stance. And I was like, man.
That's the worst stance.
Yes, it is. And we stayed like that. It seemed like forever. And I told myself, I started coaching myself through this. I said, I'm going to have to sit back down and wait till, he turns, looks the other way or something, because he's going to end up busting me. So he got comfortable. He throwed his head up one time smelling in, and he got comfortable again, and he started smelling the ground. So I kind of eased back down in my chair. So I looked up ahead of him, and I seen a group of trees. And I said, he's either going to walk behind them or in front of them. So if he walks behind them, I'll stand up then. Mm-hmm. That's what I told myself. And he started walking. He went, good Lord made him go behind them trees.
Yeah.
So I went ahead and stood up, and he heard or caught something out of the corner of his eye when that happened, because he stopped behind them trees and started looking around. But he was behind them trees. So I turned, got turned, and I started shaking. I tried to clip my string. I was like, all right, Anthony, calm down. Focus on the shot, make the kill. So I clipped my string, got my bow up, and I said, okay, when he starts walking out behind them trees, if he'll walk down this little opening right here, that's where I ranged about 40 yards. I'll pop him in, and I'll draw back as soon as he starts walking out. So he started walking out, and I drew back, just followed him with my bow, made sure I had my wall, and he stopped right there in that opening, and I adjusted for the drop. I aimed a little bit lower, and he did. He dropped. He buckled down as soon as I fired that bow, and it stuck him right in the bow, right in the heart, really.
Dang. Really?
I cut his heart. Yep.
Wow, man, that's a great shot.
But I thought I had made a bad shot. I ain't gonna lie. He run over the hill, the arrow stuck in him, and I guess it's because he was kind of quartering towards me, a little bit, and the arrow went in this way and stuck into the other side of his ribs.
Okay.
And but he run off and run over the hill and down in the bottom, and I thought I climbed down and went down there to where I shot him at, and I couldn't find no blood right then, and I was like, dang, I done gut shot at him or something.
Yeah.
So I went ahead and loaded another arrow because I heard him fall. I heard him hit a tree hard.
Yeah.
And so I eased up on the hill with my other arrow in my bow and started looking around down there in the bottom, and I seen him laying down there. So I stood there and watched him for a little bit, and he never did move. So I said, all right, well, if I did make a bad shot, I'm still going to back out just in case, I'm not going to jump him up.
Right.
So I backed out and gave him a little time, and then loaded my tree stand, got all that back to the truck, went back in there, and he was still laying the spot. So I started walking on towards him then. I knew he was probably dead.
Oh, yeah.
And the closer I got, the bigger them horns got. And I tell you,
no ground shrinkage.
If there was any hunters around me in them woods, I know they had to have heard me hollering that day.
Yeah.
I was celebrating down there in the middle of the woods.
Man. Yeah, I would have too. How far did he run?
He didn't run far. Probably it was about a 30-yard. He was on top of a little knoll, and he run down to the other side, so maybe 30 yards.
He didn't make it far at
you
all.
cut that heart. That was it.
He didn't go far at all.
Yeah.
And see, the blood, actually, what happened was I was up just a little too high. He had run down just a little bit lower around the bottom, and that's where all the blood was. There was a lot of blood. I just missed it.
Reckon why you said you were downwind of the trail. Reckon why he come downwind of you. What do you think?
To smell what's on that trail, I guess.
Yeah.
They scoping that trail
You
out.
think he might have heard?
You know, I tell you, animals, a lot of different animals use the same trail.
Yeah.
I've seen coyotes and bobcats run the same trail that deer run.
Oh yeah.
You know, it's like just the easiest path. You know, they want to take the easiest path, and I guess he come downwind just to see, you know, what all had been in that area.
Yeah.
Before he went through there.
Yeah, bucks usually tend to take a trail, the path,
Path of least resistance.
or just less traveled, A lot of times you'll find a trail wore out, and right over here you'll find a dim trail.
That's the buck.
A lot of times that's the buck trail. Now that one I told you I killed, the biggest one I ever killed in Alabama, he was on a trail. Man, it looked like a dang teenager been riding up and down on a dirt bike when he come across the old road. And when I shot him, but that was just one of those things, man. I wasn't even gonna go hunting. I said, yeah, I'll go, and I went in. I just sat on the ground. I scratched the spot out, and I sat down. And as soon as I sat down, Anthony, I looked, and there he was. He was coming. I wasn't there 5 minutes and shot him.
Well, did you feel like that morning? Did you feel like this was a good morning? This is the morning or whatever?
No.
You don't ever get that feel.
There's sometimes I do. I'm not kidding.
Too.
Yeah.
I do too.
You go, man. Everything just feels
Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
Well,
that's
that's
the way this was this
yeah.
morning.
Yeah, well, that's why this was this morning. I felt like that, and man, I'm hunting a buck, and
Yeah, because I talked to you last night, and you said, man, I don't even know if I'm gonna sleep tonight.
you
didn't.
Man, I got up at 4 o'clock, and I had a 20-minute hike to where I was going. And, man, when I got there, I was just pouring sweat. I was just, it was just brutal. My toboggan was sweaty, and I still had
It
landed.
wasn't but 20 degrees.
Yeah, I know it. I mean, I had to go up a mountain, it was public land,
Choccolocco can do it to you.
Yeah, this was Talladega National Forest. So when I got there, I got in my stand. I was sitting there, and it was dark, and I leaned my head over on my bow, just trying to catch my breath. And I heard something. I was gonna pull my head up. My toboggan froze to my bow. Well, I was sitting there, and I just knew it because I got pictures of this buck, man, coming, and it was 6:30, 6:40, between 6:30 and 7 o'clock every day. And I just knew. I said, man, this is gonna be it. This is gonna be it. Well, the sun started, coming up, and I was sitting there. And like I said, it was 21 degrees this morning, and I was sitting there, and I kept seeing something glare, and I was like, I was kind of looking up, what's that? I thought a spider web had done got on me or something. I kept glaring, and finally when the sun got up, I looked, and I focused on the end of my eyelashes. I had icicles on the end of my eyelashes.
I thing it was froze up there on that mountain.
Yeah, it was froze. I mean, but I had, I layered up good. I got some pretty good stuff. But
it was cold this morning.
That dang buck, man, I had a small buck come in. He was feeding around, and he walks up the hill a little ways, and I hear something. I look, and there that big son of a gun standing about 75, 80 yards from me, looking at that buck. And I'm like, oh, God, come on. And he just turns, and he walks just away from me. I don't know if he saw me or didn't like that buck being here or decided, I'm going to go a different route today. But he didn't come.
They're strange creatures.
Man, they are.
You can't – it's hard to –
A big buck like that, if he sees anything out of the ordinary, I mean – he knows it, you know what I mean? Because he knows the woods better than me, and you know the woods.
Well,
he knows
that's their living room.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
And on a mountain, because I was hunting him, on a saddle, and there's a big mountain, and, the wind, when the wind comes over a mountain, a tall ridge, it's like water. It's like a water at the beach. When you see the waves coming, if you're watching, the water's coming fast off the beach, to suck back into the wave,
Yeah.
Well, that's the way wind on a mountaintop is.
Rolling.
When it comes over top like that, the air on the bottom, it's sucking up.
And rises back
and
up.
Then it'll roll.
Yep.
And, man, if it's a north wind, guess what? You're going to have south wind coming because it'll pull it right up into it.
Yep.
And that could have happened this morning. He could have got a little wind of me and, decided, yeah, I'm not going up through there today. So,
I always say it's really right place, right time.
It is.
I mean, it's just luck for real.
I think that, like we was talking earlier, how you said, like, sometimes you just feel like it's the right day.
Yeah.
I think it's just like, like we're animals, instinctively and all, and, like, we know when it feels good, and, like, when we feel good, like the barometric pressure or whatever, and the weather feels good. I think the deer feel the same thing, too, and that's why you see deer on those
Just
days.
natural.
And have lucky day, what you would consider a lucky day,
Yeah. I tell you, on the way in the woods that morning, I was drinking my cup of coffee, and I was getting close to the bottom of my cup of coffee, and it felt like a good morning. Because I've been hunting that area for 3 days, and they say you hunt 3 days straight, sooner or later, whatever making that sign, he's got to come through there.
Yep.
He's gonna come through there.
Yep. I'm a firm believer.
So, I was drinking my coffee, and something was in my coffee in my mouth, and I was like, "What the heck is that?" I spit it back out in my cup. Flipped the light on, cause it was big. And I looked down in there, and there was a feather down in my cup of coffee. And I said, "How in the hell did that get there?" I said, "I'll tell you what, if I kill a big one today, that's gonna be my lucky feather." It's just crazy stuff like that,
Yeah.
And it just makes the I don't know, it just makes it feel like it's gonna be perfect. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah.
I do.
It's just crazy how it happened that day, for real.
You're talking about, if you hunt 3 days in a row, you're pretty much going to see it. And, you go to Kansas, like we was talking about earlier, in Alabama, it's so thick down here. And it's, if you don't set up just right, a lot of times you won't see the deer.
Yeah, they'll be all around you, and
Yeah.
they'll wind you or whatever,
But up in Kansas, you got such, vast fields and small woods. And I seen it firsthand, and a deer is a deer. It's just where he lives at, So these deer up there, I was sitting in the stand, and, you say, oh, there's a nice little buck. There's a nice buck. That's a good buck. I'd probably shoot him, and you let them walk, the first day, you sit there, and when we go, we stay, about a week or two. And so that group of deer will be gone, and you won't see them but 3 or 4 days later, they're back.
Same group.
Yep.
It's like they're making large loops.
Yeah.
Yep.
And so, and it's just like was talking earlier, about making long shots with your bow and stuff. I was sitting in my tree up there in Kansas, and I seen a buck. He was 180, 190 inches standing out there. And I was ranging him. He was 93 yards. And, I'm telling you what, it was about 5 days into the hunt, and I said, I wanted to take the shot because he's so big. And I said, no. I said, I'm going to wait. Well, when I ended up leaving, never seen him again. The next day, my buddy sent me a picture. He stayed up there. And it was that buck on camera.
On camera?
Yeah. Yeah, he was on camera.
Buck.
He never killed him.
Oh, they never got that buck? I thought they ended up getting that one.
No, not that one. No, that one lady, she killed one of the other ones up there, and it was like a 160-inch buck.
Y'all hunting on the Milk River?
No, this was in Kansas, not Montana.
Okay.
I tell you what, a river up there is like a creek down here.
Creek, yeah.
Mm-hmm. They call it a river, and that thing, it'll be small.
Yeah, they're narrow.
Yeah, you can walk across it, step across it.
Yeah.
Up there, Choccolocco Creek would be a river.
Oh, yeah.
A major river, but
I ain't hunted out of state too much. Ohio's about the only spot, really. Shawnee State Forest.
yeah.
I like how in Shawnee State Forest, though, here the mountains on Choccolocco, they go straight up, they peak, and then straight down the other side. In Ohio, they're more like rolling hills. They're straight up, but once you get on the top, it might be 100 yards before you drop off the other side. It's just big flat top up there.
It's kind of like plateaus.
Yeah, man, I'm telling you, it's pretty up there.
There's some big bucks. My wife sent me a picture the other day. She got it off social media. Somebody hit a buck up there, 24-pointer. Did y'all see that?
I haven't seen that.
Oh, my gosh, it's huge. It's a 200-inch deer or better. He's huge. Somebody hit him with a car.
Dang.
And down in, I believe it's southeast Ohio. There's a few counties down there that are, that's where the monster bucks are.
Yeah, it is.
That's where the big ones are.
Yep. Right across the Ohio River into Kentucky. That's a hot spot in Kentucky right there. Also, right in that area. That's all close to Shawnee State Forest, all that region, right in there.
When's the last time you was up there?
It's been 3 years. It's been about 3 years.
Yeah.
I still got some family and friends. They make a trip up there. I tell you, if anybody goes to Shawnee State Forest, there's a old horse camp right in the middle. It's called Old Uncle Ben's.
Mm-hmm.
That's where we always stay at. And this man, he's something else. You know what I mean? He's actually from Tennessee, originally from Tennessee, but he'll set you up, lodge you, and everything. He even cooked for us. You know what I
Really?
mean? He just
Nice.
enjoys the company, and he runs a horse business there. And you know, people come in, ride horses and stuff.
Yeah.
But excellent place to stay for, you know, a low budget.
Right.
You know, something anybody could afford. You know, we'd probably be looking at, you know, tags, out-of-state license, paying Mr. Ben, and you know, maybe $700-800 a piece.
That ain't
And
bad.
stay a week, you
No.
know, and hunt up there.
Dang tag in Kansas, $500.
Yeah,
I know.
Then you license.
yeah.
High.
Yeah. Then you land to hunt on if you don't have a lease or have
Yeah.
your own land.
Well, the cool thing about it there too is they got all that walk-on property too.
Yeah. But yeah, you going this weekend?
I don't know. I have to look and see how things play out.
Yeah.
I'd like to.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
I'd like to.
Oh yeah.
That's what my
When-
wife, she said, I don't understand it. You've already killed one.
They'll never
You-
understand.
You got a good one.
Well,
Why do you want to go?
you gotta look at it like this. Every time that you go out, it's the opportunity to have a unique hunt. It can also be the worst hunt of your life, but it can also be the best hunt of your life. And I mean, that's every time you go out. So
Yeah.
every time you go out, it's the opportunity to be the best day of your life. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah. You never know when that bigger
That-
one will walk out. Is the way I
Yeah.
think about it.
I mean, it's like that. You know, just hey, it was the right day. You know, 3 days in a row, 2 days. You know, man, nothing happened. You know, but that third day, man, oh, you got a story.
Yep.
Yeah.
You think about it forever.
Yeah, that's right.
A lot of women don't understand. You know, well, you done killed a deer. I just laugh.
What are you talking
Okay.
about?
Okay.
All right.
All right, you just got a pair of shoes.
Yeah.
You know, why you got all those other ones in there?
Yeah.
I use that.
They give me 3 deer. I gotta get them.
Yeah.
Oh. And then when I got those 3 done, we're gonna videotape my buddy killing his 3.
Yeah. You got to keep this going.
Yeah.
Wolf.
It's just outdoors, you know.
It is,
I love
man.
the outdoors.
It
That's
is.
how I grew up. You know,
Yeah.
my uncles, all my family. That's Christmas. Christmas was, we go hunting that morning. We come in and eat lunch or dinner, you know, Christmas dinner, and we pack food and carry it right back to the woods with us.
Yeah,
You know, that's
yeah.
the way I grew up.
Yep. Thanksgiving, same way.
Yeah,
Come in and
Thanksgiving,
eat and
same
go
way.
right back to the woods.
Yep, yep.
Yep. There's a lot of kids that don't get to experience that stuff. You know, they don't even know what it's like.
That's right.
That was our time. You know, that was holidays, but it was our time to be in the woods and, you know, enjoy the outdoors.
Yeah. And you know, it's like Landon says all the time. You know, his granddad's passed away, but he said his best memories are hunting with his granddad. You
Oh
know?
yeah. I mean, they're vibrant. I mean, they're still just as vibrant today as they were 10 years ago.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And you know, it's just you got to make those memories. You
Yes,
know,
you do.
It's you got to.
Yeah. Especially nowadays time, there's so much that can distract a young mind, and that's why I can't wait to get my children addicted to the outdoors, you
Yep.
know. But there's so much out there for them that's bad,
Oh yeah.
Oh,
you know,
yeah.
and I want them to be on this and focus on stuff like this, you
That's
know what I
right.
mean?
Yeah.
Instead of being in that bad crowd.
Yep.
Yeah, you're right. And the thing about it is, and when they do, it just gives you another excuse to be in the woods.
Oh yeah. Yeah. You say, come on, we'll go do this.
Your wife
you
says, "You already killed a deer." Yeah, but my boy's hunting.
know? Yeah. We
My
got
wife-
9 to kill this year.
Yeah.
We was just talking. Me and my wife was just talking about that the other day. Talking about whenever my son, she was saying, "Well, it won't be much longer, you know." And Isaiah, he'll be wanting to go with you, and you're gonna have to teach him how to bow hunt, and he's gonna be wanting to go. I said, "Well, me and him just
You
have
just
to load
start-
up and go to Ohio or something." And she said, "Well, no, me and Easton's going with y'all. If y'all go." I said, "What are you gonna do?"
Yeah.
She said, "Well, if you go to Uncle Ben's horse camp with me and Easton ride around on a horse," I said, "That's fine with me."
Yeah. Heck yeah.
Well, the thing too about, like, you know, hunting, you can hunt from 6, 8 years old, you know, whenever you can start going with your parents or whoever, you know, till basically the time you can't move anymore, you know.
Yeah. And I hope that's me.
Yeah.
Me too.
I hope
Me too. I read a story. It was sad. I don't even know who posted it, but
I know exactly where you're going with this.
About them finding their father. He had a heart attack.
Yep.
But he had actually killed a buck, you know, and he got excited from killing a buck, and he actually got down out of a tree stand, but they found him after he climbed down. And
wasn't he next to the deer or something?
Yeah, I think he was. Yeah, I think he was close to the deer or something like that. And I mean, that's sad, but you know, what better way to go?
And the same sense, you know, crap. That's the way everybody wants to go, doing what they want to do.
Yeah.
You know, not laying in a bed.
My great granddad, he died hunting in the woods. Mm-hmm. My granddad was actually. It was during World War II. He was actually overseas fighting, and when he died, you know, he died up the mountain, Cane-Tuck Mountain up there.
Cane-Tuck.
Yep.
My granddad died fishing on a fishing boat.
I hope that's where I go.
He just had a heart attack. That was it.
Hunting or fishing, man. Either way, I don't care.
I hope that's where I go too.
I hope I'm not at work.
No, that'd just make the day awful, wouldn't it?
I mean, my kind of look, that's what would happen. I'll be at work.
Yeah,
I'll be at work, man. I'll get trapped in something, and it would start at my feet and just slowly crush me.
And then you get to feel the misery. Think back on all the good times, but you won't be able to focus on them because you'll be like, "Man, I'm at work."
I just hope it don't happen to me like that. But Anthony, I think that's good, man. I think everybody probably enjoy your story and all, man. I know
they're proud for you.
Yeah, man. That's a great buck.
I appreciate it.
I can't wait to see the mount.
Yeah.
I'll send you a picture whenever you can share the picture of the mount whenever I get it done.
I'm put it over the kitchen table
by Jerry in Oxford.
Jerry Cunningham.
Yeah. He's gonna mount it for me, and so I'm working with him on that.
You putting it over the kitchen table, or you putting it over the TV?
It's going somewhere in the living room.
Put it in your bedroom. That way you can look at it when you wake up.
Yeah, that way when you wake up in the morning, it's the first thing you see.
Your wife might not.
She'd kill us for saying that, wouldn't she?
Nah, she likes the outdoors too.
Oh yeah,
she does.
Well, that's good.
She loves the outdoors.
Well, Bud, we appreciate you being on the show.
I appreciate it. I appreciate y'all having me.
Yeah, man. Anytime. If you kill another one, come on.
Okay.
All right. Thanks a lot.
Hopefully,
bud.
I will.
All right. We want to thank everyone for listening to the Alabama Sportsman's Podcast. And don't forget to go to social media and follow us and like us there on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube. We're going to be uploading a lot more videos coming up on the YouTube at the Alabama Sportsman. So just follow us and tell everybody about us.